The popular online shopping platform named Shein, which is the second most downloaded app on the App Store, has been accused of not only burning outdated clothing, but also has been accused of harsh work conditions and underage workers in their facilities. Shein production creates as much carbon dioxide as 180 coal-fired power plants. But Shein is not the only company and not the only corporation to burn unsold clothing in the fast fashion industry. I'm so tired of making clothes for only 2 cents. So tired.
What did you just say?
Sorry, boss. I didn't say. I didn't. This type of treatment innocent Shein workers receive on a daily basis, but the main concern is the burning of clothing, which is slowly killing us all. Here to show us insight on the conservation status or effects that burning clothes causes, we have Professor Maggie Beret to inform us on the issues of the subject. So, how do you feel about the subject of burning clothing?
How do you feel about the air being polluted due to selfish high brand names? How do you feel that innocent little animals are being killed?
Can you give us any further information you have on the conservation of the fashion industry?
Yes. Fast fashion, the burning of clothes, is extremely harmful to our environment. A secret many big brand clothing companies keep is the fact that they burn the clothes they do not sell. The massive amounts of waste left over is a big problem, but the gases that are released into the air can be way worse. In order to create the clothes, it takes many hazardous chemicals. The dyes used to go into clothing can be very damaging to our environment. The majority of dyes used today are in about 90% of our fabrics. These dyes are made from petrochemicals which end up being consumed by humans and animals from water. Dyeing the fabrics takes so much water that it is affecting places like factories in China, causing severe water droughts. It takes about 125 liters of water just to dye a kilogram of cotton. 20% of global water waste comes from the fashion industry. After the destroying process of clothes, all of the microplastics make their way into our oceans. Microplastics are pollutants that, when inhaled, can cause major health issues. Around 100,000 marine animals are killed each year due to microplastics. Mainly small birds and fish are being affected by the microplastics. To stop this problem, we could donate clothes we no longer need. There are many people in need of clothing all over the world. Donating outgrown clothing to places like children's and women's shelters can really make a difference in someone's life.
All right, well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for talking to me about we're going to introduce our environmental scientist, Chanda. Chanda, how are you doing today?
I'm very good.
All right, so do you have information to share about how our environment is affected by the burning of clothing?
Yes. The fashion industry is responsible for 10% of carbon emissions received on Earth. When clothes are being burned, it releases tons of carbon dioxide along with many types of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. It also pollutes rivers and or streams, drying up most of the waters. When stores are accused of burning clothes, they say the energy from burning all the unsold clothes is environmental friendly. Clothing contains a chemical called methane, which is colorless, odorless greenhouse gas that creates harmful air pollution. To help our environment, we can boycott popular brands that burn their unused clothes to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that pollutes the air. Instead, for all the non-sustainable brands, maybe try some eco-friendly ones such as 4 Days, Patagonia, Pact, and 10 Tree.
Even popular brands like H&M burn their unsold clothing. In 2017, H&M was exposed for burning 12 tons of clothing every year since 2013.
Here, I'll have to buy a ticket. Can't you give me 5 more minutes?
Okay, so I'm here with Jacob Dunn, and today we're talking about
clothing burning.
How do you feel that millions of lambs are being slaughtered every day because of pollution in our earth?
That's pretty sad. How the little lambs are.
Do you shop from Shein?
No.
Where's your outfit from?
Champion.
So do you know that there are a bunch of animals being harmed because of what you're wearing today?
Well, this sweatshirt's pretty comfortable.
Are there any companies that made your clothing that burn unused clothing that they don't sell?
I don't know. Is there?
Do you care about the animals dying?
Yes. Well,
Do you know the dye that is used to dye your clothing has been poured into rivers and polluting animals like fish?
No, but that's not good.
So you know that, but you still wear these clothes anyway.
I did not know that.
When we burn clothing, we are also hurting all the animals who consume these fumes. Not only that, but we are harming our environment and ourselves. Introducing our climate scientists to demonstrate how burning clothing can influence our climate change. How are you doing, Dr. Kiki Murp?
I'd be doing a lot better without knowing there are animals suffering due to companies that burn clothes.
So, how do you feel about the subject, and what information do you have to share?
All this merchandise pollutes the environment. In creating garments creates a harmful air pollution. Clothing releases methane, a powerful greenhouse gas. The fashion industry is overall responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions.
I see. And why is burning clothing bad for our climate?
Clothing contains a chemical called methane, which is a colorless, odorless greenhouse gas that creates harmful air pollution. The burning also releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which worsens the effect of global warming. Greenhouse gases caused by carbon emissions are predicted to grow by 50% by 2030. And the dyes that are also in the clothes have an impact on the climate when the unsoaked clothes are being burned. To stop this, we can stop shopping from brands that do not burn their unsold clothing and support companies that are good for our climate.
What countries are affected by the fashion industry?
The countries most affected by the fashion industry are Bangladesh, India, China, Indonesia, and other developing nations. Fashion brands are also hiring workers from these countries for a cheap workforce. These workers have to deal with worker exploitation and poor labor conditions.
Can you go more in depth about the work exploitation and how bad it is?
Work exploitation is the abuse of people for profit.
That's really interesting. Anything else about the fast fashion industry impacting the environment that you have not already mentioned?
Yes, did you know that the fashion industry is the second most polluting industry in the world?
Finally, all done.
Is that a shame of your burning clothes?
Nobody's there. Is anybody there?